Hello, my name is Mark Richards and welcome to Richards FM Volume 12. Another 13 tracks this week for you to get into. Hopefully, it's all right, mixed bag again this week, as it always is, because that's just the way it goes. So all the tracks from this week's playlist are in the playlist on Spotify, as you'll know by now. They'll all be in the big Richards FM playlist as well. The links will be in the description below, sort of thing. And that's that. We'll crack on with this week's 12 tracks. So, for a start, we've got a busker. Didn't think I'd be showing a busker off, did you? But I am doing. His name's Cam Cole, and he's actually really good. He plays a lot of blues, blues and rock and sort of indie grungy sort of stuff, and it's really, really good. The song I put in is New Age Blues. It comes from his only album, oddly enough, and he's actually recorded a studio album called I See, which is actually a really good album. It's good, a lot of blues inflections, a lot of good energy to it, and I really like it. So, New Age Blues by Cam Cole, getting us off to a good start this week. So there you go. The second track, we're going all acoustic. We're all up and down a bit this week. I don't know what that was. Just ignore that. Corey Taylor, Slipknot frontman, has got a solo album out. He released it last year called CMFT. Again, which is good, solid hard rock album. Quite a bit of a departure from Slipknot and Stone Sour. If you know those bands, it's more of a proper hard rock, energetic, fueled, just Corey Taylor spitting stuff at you. Standout song, one of the early singles from that, was called Black Eyes Blue, and he's got an acoustic version of that, which I really like. In fact, I might even like it better than the full band version. So I've put that in for you to check out. If you like that, check out the full band stuff and the album. So CMFT, got a cup of tea, and it's really good. Next, we've got one of my favourite bands of all time, the Counting Crows. Really like Counting Crows. This album, you will know because it's sold gazillions and gazillions, is just such a quality album. I just love this thing from start to finish. They've got a new single out for the first time in 7 years, would you believe? So I'm quite excited. It's called Elevator Boots, and it's quite country-ish and sort of Americana-y sort of thing going on, which is the kind of route they've been taking of late. So yeah, check that out, see what you think. They've got a new, well, they're calling it an album, but it's more of an EP because it's got 4 tracks on it. But it's called Butter something sweet, Butter Miracle. There you go, I can't read my own writing, which is nothing unusual. Butter Miracle Sweet 1, which is out on the 21st of May. So the 4-track EP, of which this is the lead single from, and I like it. It's good. It might take a little bit getting used to because it's not an immediate thing, but that's what we're going for because I like the Counting Crows. So there. So yeah, if you've watched a few of these videos before, you know that I get quite sort of thingied about anniversary albums, and I mentioned the Doors last week. It's the 50th anniversary of this album, LA Woman, which is just the best Doors album ever. And they did 6 in the space of 4 or 5 years, and this was the last one before Jim Morrison up sticks and went to Paris with Pam to meet his end, basically. But this album is just a proper bluesy, rocky, psychedelic trip from start to finish. It's got solid quality songs on it, which, I spoke about this album before, but I'm going to repeat myself. LA Woman, Riders on the Storm, Love and Madly, the 3 songs that will be most known from this. I really, really love this album. I've been listening to it now in the last 2 weeks too. I put the lead track from this, the start track, the Changeling, which I just think is a wonderful, wonderful song. Really good start to the album. If you've not listened to The Doors and you've not listened to this, get on it. It's just absolutely wonderful. Can't push this album enough. Do it. The Doors, LA Woman. What a song. What an album. Right. Enough of that. Next, we've got Jerry Cinnamon. Now, I've had one of Jerry Cinnamon's tracks on here before. This one is from his first album, Erratic Cinematic. So, Belter is a song I'm going for that. This is what my daughter got me into, as well as much other stuff, of which I'm eternally grateful. Thank you. But Belter is a belter. It's a proper It starts off as a bit of a live track, but it's not. I don't know. It's really good live, and it's just a really good song. You'll end up getting it stuck in your head. It's just a bit of earworm candy, and it's great. It's great. And if you like that, check out Erratic Cinematic. That came out in 2017, and it's a good album, and his follow-up album as well. So well worth doing. So I've got next another repeat anniversary album, just because I like this album so much as well. So the last time I had it on, as soon as I finished doing this video, I got off and I listened to this again, and it's just so good. So I've put the title track, The Chronicles of a Bohemian Teenager, Part 2. Oddly enough, Part 1 is on here as well, but Part 2 is just a cracking song. So 15th anniversary of this album. Sam Duckworth has made a bunch of vinyl copies of his albums and re-released it and stuff. So, and he's going on tour in support of it. So if you manage to get to a gig, which I hope we all do sooner rather than later, go and see Cape Way or Cape Fly, do this first album. Absolutely brilliant album. 15-year anniversary. Go do it. Wonderful stuff. Right, so cover version of the week. So what cover version are we going to have this week? We're going to have Jimmy Eat World's version of The Prodigy's Firestarter, which couldn't be any more different from The Prodigy's version if you tried. And I think they did. It's in proper Jimmy Eat World, esoteric, indie, emo. And I hate to use that word emo because it's a bit old thing now, but it's just such a cracking, atmospheric version of Firestarter. And I love it. It's nearly 6.5 minutes long. And it's just absolutely wonderful. As cover versions go, and you know I like cover versions because, you know, it's just an obsession at the minute. Excuse me. Yeah, Firestarter by Jimmy Eat World is the one to go for this week. Try that out. I think you'll like it. So the next song, I'm a bit dubious whether I've left it in the playlist or not, or whether I should have left it in the playlist or not. But I've been quite enjoying it this week. It's the 2020 or 2K21 mix, apparently, of Sun Is Shining by Bob Marley and the Wailers, remixed by Jude and Frank and One World. They released this in 2019, apparently, but apparently they just give it another remix and chucked it out there. It's just a nice, happy, shiny people song. The original's obviously a classic. Bob Marley is just a legend, and the Wailers, I've seen the Wailers, and they're just brilliant as well. So this mix is just a shiny, happy, summery kind of song that gets you bouncing along, well out of my comfort zone generally, but I'm liking it, so I'm chucking it in there just to be completely random. Right, next we've got Kings and Bears. Now, if you've not heard of Kings and Bears, they are a bit of an indie rock group from my neck of the woods, and I'm quite liking it. I have to admit, right, I have to come clean and say the drummer is my neighbour, and this is the only reason I've heard of them. But they are looking into what they've been doing. They've been supporting Gentleman's Dub Club at the Engine Shed here in Lincoln. They've headlined their own festivals and gigs and stuff, and they've got a few good singles out. And I put When the Day, which is the latest single. I think it just came out last year. And I like it. And if I didn't like it, I won't come in just because the drummer lives next door. Doesn't mean I'm going to put it in. But I really like it, and I'm liking the attitude. And they do sound. I put, if you remember the other week, I put a band called Jeremiah Ferrari in with Cosmic Rays, and they sound a little bit like that. They've got that same soul, funk, rock, punk, indie thing going on, and it all comes together in a perfect blend. And I'm liking it. I'm going to investigate more of it, check out more of it. Other indie guitar bands are available, but I like that one, so I'm going to put that in and see what you think of that. Is that all right? Yeah. So, next we've got Lucy Spraggan and Scouting for Girls. Now you see, another departure for me. I do like Lucy Spraggan because I've put a couple of her tracks in before, and that's sound. And I've never been a big fan of Scouting for Girls. And I took my daughter and a mate to see them at Rock City, and then I'm stood there and I'm doing the dad thing on the side of the dance floor, Scouting for Girls. But the atmosphere was just amazing. Everybody was just having a good time, and it was pretty full in Rock City. And it was just a really good atmosphere. Everybody was up for it. And the band came on, and to be fair, they are a really, really good live band. Like a quality live band. Quite impressed with that. So anyway, they got together, Lucy Spraggan and Scouting for Girls, and they recorded a song called Stick the Kettle On, which appears on Lucy Spraggan's album Today Was a Good Day. It was recorded for, where's my writing? Campaign Against Living Miserably. So an effort to keep young men from committing suicide, basically, which I can't think of a better way to stop people from committing suicide. Just anything to stop people from committing suicide is just desperately needed, especially in these times. It needs to be done. So Stick the Kettle On, and besides all of that heavy stuff, it's actually a really good song. It's a brilliant song. It's got a good message to it, and it doesn't ladle it on with Band-Aid type sledgehammers. It's just a good song, telling you to look after your mental health, look after yourself, and look after each other, and do that, please, all of you. So enough preaching, but still listen to it, because it's just a good song to listen to, and you can ignore all the rest of that if you like, but please don't. Right, so last anniversary album for this week, and I managed to fit a few in, haven't I? So we're doing well. The Rolling Stones, Sticky Fingers. So I mentioned this last week as well. 50 years for this. It's 50 years for the Doors album as well, in case you missed me saying that. 50 years from the Stones, Sticky Fingers, with this Andy Warhol and the Factory artwork. And also it was the first use of the Rolling Stones logo, which is the lips one, that one there. So the first time that got used, designed by a guy called John Pasha, who's done a lot of stuff for different people like the Art of Noise and just loads and loads of people. He's a really good designer, so he designed that. So it's first use of that. This is just a really good track, really good album. So I've put Can't You Hear Me Knocking on it, which is the longest track of the album. It's about 7 minutes long, but it's just, I mean, you've heard quite a lot of this. Brown Sugar and Wild Horses are on this. Sway, I Got the Blues, Sister Morphine is just chock full of quality tunes. So I thought I'd just put something a bit different on and put Can't You Hear Me Knocking on it, which is just absolutely bob on. Let's not do that, because that'll end up on the thumbnail. That'll not be good. So Rolling Stones, Sticky Fingers. If you've not listened to the Stones before, if you've not heard this album before, just do it. Just go and listen to it. Sit down, get yourself a cup of tea or a beer or whatever, and just sit and listen to that, because it's just such a good album. So yeah, that's that. Next, we've got another bit of a departure for me. So I'm going to have a bit of a drink and tease you, which might seem a bit weird since I'm wearing a Nine Inch Nails t-shirt, but UB40, Jeffrey Morgan. So I actually bought this the other week, and I've not had it that long and I've not listened to it before, but it has got the classic, one of my favourite UB40 songs, If It Happens Again, which is the only single that came from this album. And I love If It Happens Again. It's such a quality song. But I've put DUB, Dub, in the playlist just because I really, really like it. And it's something a bit different for the playlist and what we're doing. If you'd like UB40, I know they're a bit commercial. And I've got a run of 5 albums before they started really, really selling out. Excuse me, in my opinion. This might be a contentious point of view, but there you go. This was the one that came after Labour of Love. So Labour of Love was quite possibly the commercial breakthrough album for UB40. A collection of 10 reggae standards that they reinterpreted in their own style. And it's a really good album as well, to be fair. So between Labour of Love, this, Bag of Riddim, Rat in My Kitchen, and the self-titled UB40 album, those are my 5 favourite UB40 albums. And they're all really good. They're all like quality albums. This is a good album as well. I like this. I'm starting to like this more than the others I'm thinking at the minute. And it's a lot of political lyrics to it as well. A lot of social interactions, which, bearing in mind it was 1984, might be a bit dated now, but some of it is still relevant, because injustice is always relevant. Sorry. So yeah, check out Dub, because it's just a good song. And that's what we're doing that. And the last track this week is a bit of nepotism. It's Dave Grohl and his daughter Violet Grohl. They've done a cover of Nausea, which apparently is by an 80s punk band called X. And it's really good. She's got a really good voice. I know he's been, like, say, the nepotism thing, but I think it works because she's got a great voice and she puts a lot of attitude into it and a lot of effort into it. And Dave Grohl is Dave Grohl, so everything he touches turns to gold. So, yeah, I'm liking that. So I'll push that at you and see what you think. I think it's worth checking out. So, yeah, 13 tracks. I seem to be just chucking 13 tracks in, but, you know, that's just my OCD. Can't help that. So, yeah, 13 tracks. I hope you like them. If you do like them, please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like or a thumbs up or something. Please listen to the playlists. If you don't want to do any of that, just listen to the music, because that's what it's all about. I just want to give you some new music to listen to. So there's Richard's FM Volume 12. It's a link. I'll put the link into in the description. And the big Richard's FM playlist where all the tracks go from these videos that I've done. So, yeah, please follow a playlist, like a channel, subscribe to a channel, all of that. Even just leave me a comment, something, so I know I'm not on my own. Hey, anyway, being silly. Right, that's that. Take care. All the best. See you next week.